welcome to the joys of veganism. Thank you so much for joining us. We're all so happy to be a part of DisclosureFest. So today we have some amazing vegan guests and some of my favorite people, and I'm so excited to introduce them all to you. My first question, and I'm going to introduce you guys, and then you guys can answer the question is, what was your epiphany aha moment that like opened your eyes to becoming vegan, and what positive changes have come from it? I'm going to start with Jonathan. Jonathan is the founder of the Fake Movement, and you guys got to check out his website. I seriously went through. He has the Fakers page. It's like all his like stamp of approval, places to go buy vegan, awesome fashion products. And I went through the whole thing and I had so much fun. I bought purses and dresses. It was like the best. So you guys got to check that out. So yes, Jonathan, thank you for being here. Please tell us.
Thank you. And thank you so much for talking about this, because it was a lot of hard work to create this. We have around 100 different fakers, like I like to call them. So it's brands that are not only vegan, but as well ethically made, because we try to redefine veganism, because we animal as well. So when it's vegan, it should be without any animal cruelty, but as well without any human cruelty or environmental cruelty. So this is why fake fashion for animal kingdom and environment. And so my aha moment was actually a Gary Rofsky speech. You probably saw it. And I actually got sick because of a steak that I ate. And I was sick for like 2 days. And I started eating, like fruits, soup, and I talked to my cousin. I told him, why, when we are sick, we are eating fruits, vegetables. And then we go back again to like fast food and all this. Why we don't just eat fruits always? I start to open my mind to that. And he talked to me about this speech of Gary Rofsky. And I watched the speech. I cried for like an hour, and I decided to throw everything in my house and to go vegan from like an hour before I was eating like fast food, and right away after this I became vegan because we don't need to harm animals, and I'm an animal lover, so it doesn't make sense for me to eat them. Yeah. Oh, and what it brings positive to me, it's actually, it helped me to become more, so that was a process, because I become vegan, and it takes me maybe a year or two to realize that veganism is a real state of mind. And I start to pay attention to what matters in life, and to not focus on money or ego, but to focus on positive, compassionate value. And that actually helped me to be successful. I never been as successful in my life, but that's my perception of success. I'm not looking on the money or anything. I wake up every day being so happy of doing fake. And I think that's the definition of success. And combining compassion in your life, in your work, in everything, that's what helped me to be, to my definition, successful. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at us, the yogis. Yay. And Crystal, so Crystal is a vegan actress, and she has an awesome, I love her social media page. She's always posting dishes. I've been really enjoying her Instagram page as well. Crystal, please tell us, what was your moment?
Okay, so I'm trying to be quick, but because I'm an old school vegetarian, right? So I became a vegetarian in 1997. I was like a lone ranger. I was, one of the first out here in the world as a vegetarian, trying to eat, trying to feed myself, and living in Chicago in a world of hot dogs, cheeseburgers, deep dish pizza, and all this stuff. And so I naturally, when I became a vegetarian, kind of leaned on the raw side. When I originally learned how to be a vegetarian, it was more like live food. And so as the years went on, some years went on, and I was somewhere stuck, as you know how it is, you guys, we get stuck somewhere. And I was at a restaurant with friends, and I think I was like in Iowa somewhere, and the only thing they had that was like no meat, like vegetarian, the only thing they had on the menu was like a grilled cheese. And I hadn't eaten any of that kind of stuff in a couple of years. So I ate the grilled cheese, and you know, it's like, it's a grilled cheese, what's the big deal? And so I eat this grilled cheese probably in like, you know, meat, oil, you know, who knows, the whole nine is oil. So I eat this big old grilled cheese with this American cheese and the bread and the butter and all that. And I got deathly ill. I had to be rushed to the hospital. And that's when I learned that I kind of can't have dairy products. I didn't know that before, just because I stopped eating all of that stuff when I went vegetarian. Because for me, unlike most people, like I don't need a veggie burger. You know, like I love live, fresh fruits and vegetables. And so it was very easy to stop eating dairy. It kind of like, I like to joke and say I'm a forced vegan because I didn't know I was vegan. Veganism came along a little bit later on when I became a vegetarian. Then I learned about veganism. I would say like 98, 99, somewhere up in there. And then by the 2000s, I was like, yeah, I'm vegan too, you know. And you know, it just kind of like I graduated into it. I think if you're talking to people who are transitioning, you know, you may not want to do it all at one time. You know, I started out as a vegetarian. I focused on being a vegetarian for many, many years. And then I took away the eggs and the butter and the milk over time. So that's my, and of course, you know, after years and years of being a vegetarian and a vegan, your heart changes, your mind, your whole everything changes. The insight that you receive, you know, from above, and the connection to your mind and your body and your heart. And in that process, of course, I found a lot of love for self and love for others, which then brought me to the point of loving animals as well. So.
Beautiful. Thank you. And yay, we have Andrew Seeley. And Andrew is an amazing yoga teacher, He's actually my acro teacher as well. And he has so many things going on, apps and products. And he's in Costa Rica right now, right?
Woo!
Yeah.
So amazing. So Andrew, take it away.
Thank you. Such a blessing to be here, Melissa, and such a blessing to be amongst awesome vegan advocates, awesome plant-based advocates, awesome people who are in harmony with Mother Nature. I feel that is the ultimate goal as being a human, is to be in harmony with Mother Nature and to be sovereign individuals who choose to uplift the nature of those who are around us, because all creatures have this prana, this life force within them. And just to give a little background on my experience of becoming vegan, I grew up in between Barbados and La Jolla. Both my parents are Rastafarian. I had dreadlocks down to my back growing up. I grew up in a very conscious household where we prayed over every single meal, where there was a deep connection of where our food came from. You know, farm to table wasn't even a thing. It was like from the farmer to the table. Like, you know, Uncle Chicky, we would go and get all of our produce from him, and he would, you know, chef us up some good Ital food. And essentially, I had a deep connection with food from an upbringing. And then it was only until I, you know, fully moved to America, and then my mom and my dad separated when I was around 7 years old. And then my mom moved to North Hollywood, and my dad was still in San Diego and in between Barbados. And I remember everything switched a little bit, a lot of it actually. And we became pescatarian in the sense that, you know, we ate chicken and fish, which was nothing too crazy, because every occasion I would eat fish with my grandfather and that kind of stuff when he would catch it. So it wasn't anything that was too off kilter. But then I did start eating, you know, cheese pizza and a lot of milk and dairy. And I noticed that when I was playing soccer, I would always have mucus. And I would notice that I was, you know, like my nose was running, or I was hawking a loogie, and it just wasn't very attractive. You know, you're trying to run and you know, stuff's coming up, and you're like, oh, maybe that stuff is not good for me. And it would always be that, you know, the friend would have a birthday party and you would go and eat all the cheese pizza at Chuck E. Cheese or whatever it was. And the next thing you know, you're, coughing up loogies on the soccer field, and that just didn't feel good. And so it wasn't until I got to college that I really started to make big strides in actually taking hold of my own health. And that came to be when I had a girlfriend of mine who was a nutrition major, and for her actual thesis for university at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, she did a project with 5 different soccer players and put all 5 soccer players on different diets. And so by chance, we all picked one of those diets out of a hat, and we were actually committed to this diet for 90 days. We all had the same practice on a daily basis. We all had the same regimen of only eating 4,000 calories. Because we were soccer players, we had to have more than the conventional American diet, which is 2,500 calories. But for essence, one of the soccer players was on a paleo diet. The other soccer player was on a vegetarian diet. I got put on the vegan diet, which is completely plant-based. And then another soccer player was on the Atkins diet, and the other soccer player was on the USDA pyramid diet. And out of all of these soccer players, I ended up having the highest muscle to fat ratio, the best VO2 max, all the best vitals. And after 90 days, I was like, well, I might as well stick on the vegan diet. It seems to be working for me. And it's actually really funny because there's so many people nowadays who are like, oh, it must be your blood type. And I'm actually O positive. So it's like, I'm like the one that's supposed to be eating all the meat, and like you need all this iron. And I feel like it really comes down to understanding science. And when we really understand science and we understand how the body works, we realize that, these teeth are made to grind vegetables and grains, and our bodies are really efficient when we put in lighter things. If we think about how all energy works, it's right, we need to find efficiency. And what we find to be efficient is that the things that are most easily digestible, veggies, are able to nourish our bodies and give us the energy that we need to be able to be the incredible beings that we're meant to be. So that's my story of becoming vegan. I've been vegan ever since I've been 19, and I inspire others to do the same through my own practice, because I feel that the best form of activism is attractivism. Make it look good.
Hey.
Show them what you're made of,
Yeah, I love it. Beautiful. Thank you, Andrew. Lemia and Joshua, my yoga teachers as well, and they're amazing in every way. Nam yoga teachers, and also own Sacred Sense Aromatherapy. They are also my aromatherapy master teachers. So incredible, yes. And my dear, dear friends. Lemia and Joshua, tell us.
I would have to say that I'm like opposite of all of you guys. I was like the junk food kid, latchkey kid, and just my reward as a child was to go to Burger King or McDonald's. And I remember one day there was a point, my early teens, my mom and I were on a road trip together, and we stopped at this McDonald's, and I was having a great time and really excited for the trip. And after I ate the cheeseburger, I got complete flu symptoms. So I think I had E. coli or something, I don't know, but I never ate at McDonald's after that. So that was one turning point. The second turning point was meeting you, because he's been vegetarian, so he kind of was veering me that way. He's the chef within the two of us. I'm the baker and he's the chef. So eating vegetarian for a while, much like you, it was, over time I built into it. But the turning point was, there's two things. One was my teacher, Dr. Levry, Nam Yoga master teacher. He was teaching a nutrition class, and he talked about energy and how what we all strive to get is the sun. Sun brings us the prana. It gives us the light. We can get that through the breath and through connection to the sun. That's the highest grade of prana. The thing that is receiving that sunlight all day long are the plants and the trees. The whole nature kingdom, it pretty much is underneath all that light and receiving all that beautiful prana. So animals go after that light through the vegetables. And when we eat an animal, we have to go through their meat to get to the light, which is in the vegetables. So to me, it was like, well, logically speaking, if you want a higher consciousness, you need to use your energy towards what you want to use your energy towards, you know, love and giving, serving, and doing all these things. I don't want to use all my energy to just digest meat all day long. And then talking to you after being vegetarian, one night we were talking about eggs and cheese. That was the last thing for us. We were eating goat cheese and having eggs. And you showed us this video of the baby calf being pulled from the mother. And I remember just like sobbing for like 2 weeks. Just this feeling of like, I'm contributing to someone losing their mother. And like, you know, it just didn't feel right to me. And all those things together, it was like, why haven't I done this yet? So this was just 2 years ago. And it's been life-changing. My body feels different, much like Andrew, the phlegm and all of that has reduced. I used to have asthma. I don't have asthma anymore. Between essential oils and changing diet, that's gone. I'm an athlete, and I notice myself like having way more energy, just overall feeling more positive, optimistic, not feeling that fear inside that I think you get from that transfer from the animal. So that's my story.
Yeah. Yeah, and my quick little story is, you know, since about 14, I was toying with this whole vegetarian diet. My sister was a big influence on me. She was older. She was this hippie girl, lived in Ventura, drove a VW van, was vegetarian, all this stuff. And I was like, ooh, that's cool. And then subsequently, it helped me to get to the vegetarian veganism thing quicker. But at the same time, I was holding on to that dairy and that cheese and working in restaurants and places where I was working at a fondue restaurant, like just cheese all the time. And then you realize, every time I have this food, I'm hurting inside. And then all of a sudden you're going, wait, 1 and 1 is 2. That's the definition of insanity. If you keep doing the same thing, even though you know the formula, it's like, wait a minute, this is the outcome you're going to get if you keep doing this. So I finally had enough. And kind of a tipping point is I was working at a restaurant and I had a dish that I hadn't had forever. It was this andouille sausage, this Cajun dish. It was a jambalaya. It was a beautiful dish. And since I've made it vegan, but I had it traditional with andouille sausage and chicken and all these things, and it was great. And I was having a great time. And I was driving home, and I called Lemia and I was like, I think I'm having a migraine. And I hadn't had a migraine since I went vegetarian at 14. That's another lead-in, is that I was having massive migraines up until about 14, and then I went vegetarian, and my migraines stopped. So those two things, watching my sister having migraines, got me to the shift. And then I got to this other point where I was testing it. I'll have some meat and rich food, and I was done. And that was the last time that I had any meats, things like that. And then, like Lemia said, we had the egg and the cheeses that we were kind of like holding, like the goat cheese. I wouldn't do dairy cheese, but goat cheese. Like I rationalized that somehow, and like it's no different. And then, so, then we got to meet Melissa at a deeper level, and I was like, yeah, really not for me. I don't know if I can go full vegan. And, really, like Lemia said, that video was just like, oof. If you've ever seen the movie Blackfish, it was one of those like, like SeaWorld, all these big, huge things that are doing things clandestine behind the scenes that are not so great for the ethics and for the quality of life that we strive for. So if I want to have a beautiful quality of life for my wife and all of you to have a beautiful quality of life, that needs to extend to all beings that are walking and moving, and even stationary plants and animals, right? So it's like we are in this system together, this world sphere, and we're figuring it out. I really do believe that it's happening, and with more beautiful discussions like this through DisclosureFest and VegFest, we're just expanding together as a collective global community of awareness that we are doing it better. And it's taking time, but we're doing it better year by year. You talk to people that are from the 70s that are into veganism and stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's getting so much better. So, we just have to have patience. And I think that's a hard thing for us in these human bodysuits, is to have patience. But with the change of lifestyle and diet, the patience is definitely more readily available.
Wow, such beautiful answers. I'm gonna answer too. My name, all these memories came to me as you guys were all talking. It's so many really powerful points you guys hit on. But I don't remember. My mom tells me when I was 3 years old, I would spit out like the little baby food sausages they would feed you, and I would scream for macaroni and cheese. And I'd be like, no more meat. I want macaroni and cheese, having no idea. And even though I'm a huge animal lover, like I never put it together really until I went to China. And it was right after Fukushima happened. And I was a huge pescatarian, and I ate eggs and cheese. I was kind of on my path, but like not there. I hadn't had it click. And when I went to China and I saw the wet markets and I ate so much fish, and I thought about Fukushima, you know, dumping all that horrible stuff into the ocean, I was like, how can I eat this fish when it's exposed to all this, and I'm in China? And then I looked at the air and it was horrid, and I thought, this isn't China's air, this is all of our air. And something clicked in me that it's not just China, that we're all in this together, we're all connected, it's our ocean, it's our air. And that's when I just couldn't do it anymore. And then it wasn't for many years until I realized, like, oh my God, these animals have deep emotions and feelings. And then the clothing thing came in, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to wear this, like this, you know, this is leather. And it all just like after, and then one of the last things was fish. I was like, fish don't have feelings. No, I love all, it's just opened up so much to me and made me such a more sensitive person, a compassionate person. It's such a key word. And I'll introduce myself. My name's Melissa Breslow. I'm an organizer of VegFest LA and DisclosureFest, and yoga teacher, mind body space. So along with all this beautiful, compassionate work that we all do. So my next question is, what is your guys' favorite dish? Or it can either be at a restaurant or something you make at home. I'll let you guys just jump in. Take it away.
Well, you already know mine, Melissa. I'm just gonna tell you, because you already know, it's vegan pancakes. I love pancakes. I remember from the time that I was a little kid, I would beg my stepdad to make pancakes. And I remember even before that, I would beg my dad to make Eggo waffles. I loved waffles. And like, it was one of the first meals that I learned how to make when I became vegan, because I was like, they're so easy, they're really simple to do. And I remember in college, I would always go to this place called VG's, which was in Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And it was like like all the kids who would study like past 1 a.m. would go there because they were open late night until 3 a.m. And you would get, the scrambled eggs and the hash browns and the pancakes. And I remember when I first went vegan, I was like, no more pancakes. And I was like, well, I got to figure out how to make them, And so vegan pancakes is my thing, and I make them for all my friends. And so anytime that you guys are around, I will make you some vegan pancakes, and we will have a wonderful vegan pancake meal.
I've had them. They're incredible. He made them for Jane Unchained Lunch Break Live and New Day, New Chef. Awesome. Okay, who's next?
Me, actually, I just did like 2 or 3 days ago, and I'm so proud of it.
Wow.
You guys can see it.
Yes.
So it's a vegan Moroccan fish. So I'm Jewish, and every Friday night we were for Shabbat, having this Moroccan fish, and that's the only thing that I was kind of missing. Not the fish, but this flavor. And so I decided to try to do my own, and it's very simple. You just do the same dish. Instead of the fish, you put tofu, and on top of the tofu, I just put one leaf of seaweed. And that gives the same texture, the same flavor. So yeah, you guys should try. And if I have to recommend one restaurant that I'm in love with, it's La Durée. Because it reminds me of France. They have croissant, they have so many pastry that are 100% vegan, and it's just thinking about it make me want to cry of happiness. Like, it's so good.
Well, I'm gonna say I love, like, when I first went vegetarian, all I ate was like all kinds of ethnic food, like Ethiopian food, I don't know, like Thai food, and just all different kinds of food from all over the world. Just because in Chicago at the time, most American restaurants, it was just like steak and potatoes, you know? And so I really wanted to learn how to make like authentic Thai dishes. And I was looking on my phone because I thought I made some pad Thai, but I can't find a picture. But anyway, I love like curry vegetables and rice and just like a really big chunks of broccoli, because I remember when I used to go to a restaurant and you always have to like beg for extra broccoli. So I make sure I put a lot of broccoli in it, and mushrooms, and like the authentic curry sauce I buy from the Thai grocery store here in LA. And honey, I get my basmati rice. I make it as spicy as I want it, and it's on and cracking. It's
We'll be there in an hour.
You make me want to. I'm gonna do you know what, I need to do a video on how to make it for sure.
We'll do a lunch break live. Done.
Yeah.
Well, you did a lunch break live on Josh's pizza, and that's one of my favorite things. I love the pizza. I'm a hummus addict, so whether I buy it or he makes it or I make it, I don't care, but I have it almost every day. And then I like to bake, so I like vegan dark chocolate chip cookies.
Woo!
And I like to put essential oils in them to make them floral, and it's
Depending on the season.
really amazing. Yeah, depending on the season.
And then we've gotten recently into, I'll talk, because everybody's talked about other things. I'm going to talk about a dessert dish of nice cream. You know, I'm sure you're all familiar with that. We got our Vitamix with the frozen banana, if you want to go that way, and add some chocolate and almond butter.
Strawberries.
Or if you want to go mango and have like a mango, oh, it's so good. Add maybe a little bit of maple and a little bit of milk, just a tiny bit. And just
Not milk, but
I mean, you know,
almond.
we all know I'm talking about milk, almond milk, or nut milk, or whatever. MYLK. Yeah, so it's amazing. Food is sweet potatoes, butternut squash, you know, roasting vegetables. It's just opened the whole world, you know, from just a standpoint of we can do it better, because there's only like 5 major animals that are out there, and there's 80,000 edible plants that we know of on the planet. So, you know, creators saying the things that are stationary, go after those. The things that move, let them be free, right? Yeah.
And Alak is our favorite restaurant.
Yeah, Alak
down here
in Brookhurst. In
Orange
Orange County, there's one. I think they have another location, but Alak.
They're the best. The best.
And he's taken a vow of silence because he's just praying for the planet all the time. But amazing family vibe, and if you get down to Brookhurst, off Brookhurst.
Yeah, they're here in LA.
Yeah, I remember he branched out. I forget which city that he went to. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Wonderful. You guys are making me so hungry. So I've actually never found a dish that couldn't be veganized and delicious. The options are infinite, and vegan food has come so far. It's incredible. So I've been vegan for almost 10 years, and it's such a difference then to now in the vegan cheeses. I always change what my favorite thing to make is, but right now I've been loving, first of all, the Thai food. If you're in LA, satha.
Ooh.
It's like so different than any Thai food. It's so fresh that I've ever had. I love it. But I do love all Thai food. And then Crossroads right now has a grill kit you can pick up, and it's gluten-free too, which is awesome because I'm gluten-free. So it's got sausage and burgers, and then it's got baked beans and potato salad, and it's like the full works. And they even have burrata cheese right now. Like, it's decadent and incredible. I also love Double Zero pizza. The truffle pizza is like anybody, non-vegans, people who love Domino's say that they love the vegan pizza more. It's incredible. So yeah, that's there's nothing you can find. There's nothing that you can't find. Like, it's everywhere. So we're really lucky to live in LA, but all those recipes are everywhere online now. Just Google it or Yelp it. There's everything. Emma, go do your research.
What's your favorite thing to make?
My favorite thing to make, I don't even know. I usually just throw things together, like whatever I have in my fridge that's like on its way out or like I've had, you know, then I just throw it in a big stir fry and I'm like, okay, it's delicious, and put some sauces. Yeah, I mean, I love making soups, whatever it is. I just, you know, I had these pecan crispy cookies recently. Delicious. They're basically like sugar cookies with pecans. Like
You did that walnut. Speaking of nuts, you did that walnut substitute for like sausage in that like vegan quiche dish.
Oh yeah, we take the just eggs. Yeah, I taught this to Lemia and Josh, and then they catered a huge party, and it was such a hit. It like disappeared like that. The just eggs, and you take the crust, like a pie crust, and you put the just eggs in it, and you make a quiche. And I use walnuts, and everybody's like, "What's the sausage? Like, what's the meat in it? It's so delicious." And I'm like, "It's walnuts. It's amazing." And I put broccoli and all the vegetables in it. It's so fun and easy to make. You just pour it in there. You give it a shake and you pour. So I want to thank you guys so much all for joining. I love you guys all so much. These are some of my absolute favorite vegans. Please check out their bios and for more information. They all have so many beautiful vegan products that are out. I especially want to point out, Andrew, tell us what your app is called and what's your new tell us.
Okay. So first off, I heard that in the beginning, Jonathan was like, I'm going to go take my B12. So I created Glow Vegan. And Glow Vegan is a fully plant-based protein, and it's green like that because it's made out of lentine. Lentine is being tested right now by NASA. It is the highest density superfood out there right now. It grows on the surface of water, and as Lemia and Joshua were saying earlier, light. You have to think about what are the things that take in the most amount of light and transfer that light into energy. And lentine is a duckweed that grows on the surface of water that has B12 naturally occurring in its root system. So it not only has tons of B12, it has high iron, it's higher nutrient density per serving than kale, spinach, spirulina, or chlorella. And it's super high in BCAAs, which are really great. Omega-3s and 6 all in here. And so this is like literally what I'm so stoked about, because I have so many of my friends who are athletes, who are bodybuilders, who are triathletes, who are Ironmen, who are like, dude, like, how do you stay so lean? Like, what do you eat? And so I was like, I really got to make something that's next level. And so I've literally been researching for the last 5 years, came across this lentine, reached out to the guy who found it. He's a scientist out of Florida. He's been growing it, and got together with him, created Glow Vegan with Kip Anderson, who's the founder of What the Health and Cowspiracy, who happens to be a good friend of mine, who I absolutely love doing yoga with, and we've become good friends over the past few years. And then my good friend Joe Caldera, who's the founder of Trilogy Sanctuary, which is another great vegan restaurant if you happen to be in San Diego, La Jolla. Trilogy Sanctuary, you gotta go there. But this is what I'm most excited about right now. And
where can we get it?
Well, yeah.
You can get it online, glowveganprotein.com, and we'll ship it directly to you. The only other place that you can actually get it in person right now is at Trilogy Sanctuary. Right now, we're just going fully online, unless there's like some really special places, maybe like Nam Yoga or something where it's like family, where we can actually have it there, because we only want it to be sold in places that are actually full-on vegan. Like people who are really behind what they're presenting in the world, and people who are really living that truth. Because I feel like right now, more than ever, we really got to bring the consciousness together and uplift each other. And so I feel like, direct to consumer is the best way to go to get that message across, or to, partner up with other, really strong foundational, like really high value, really high moral places like Trilogy, places like Nam Yoga, to be able to sell Glow Vegan. And that's what I'm most excited about sharing.
Yay, thank you so much. And so if anybody out there is like deciding on the fence, like, I don't know, I would say just try veganism for your health, for the planet, for the animals. I love saying all that. And it really opens your eyes to all these possibilities. It's infinite. So thank you so much. I'm sending so much love and blessings. Thank you to the guests, and we will see you soon. Enjoy Disclosure Fest. Bye.
Bye.